And is it harder to write? I would imagine so. It's harder to write and direct what you do, you know what I'm saying, and to get people to kind of, you know what I'm saying, to tap into what you're trying to get done and the vision that you're seeing to get this movie completed?
No, I think it's easier when you're directing what you write because you know how you want it. You know what I mean? But you know, on the other hand, I think the only thing that I didn't like, and that's why I don't do it, was acting. I didn't like it like that, but it was very hard. To me, I felt like I had to choose to keep acting or to direct, so I just went on and continued writing and directing. But yeah, I hated directing and acting at the same time. Writing and directing, I actually love that. I actually, you know, it's always cool to be able to, you know, direct your own stuff.
No question. So give us a feeling, man, on what it first felt like, man, when you got accepted for a major deal. You know what I'm saying? Or something where you actually did, and you can put it out there, and you can say Ryan Combs did this.
Well, to a filmmaker, every one of them, you know, is our baby. But I guess the landmark one, when they gave me, you know, when we ended up, you know, able to get it, you know, at least like $1 million or something.
Right.
Was it a film I did with Blair Underwood, you know, called The Hit? And I was just a bundle of nerves the whole time because I had just, you know, we kind of got thrusted in doing like, you know, the hood movies that we liked a lot and just kind of acting in them ourselves. And, you know, to like, I'm coming out the trailer and Blair Underwood is laying on the hammock, you know. So now it's like all this bluffing and all this talking and all this along the way. Now I got somebody that I'm familiar with in front of me.
Right.
And, you know, so I think it was the first time I seen Blair, you know, laying on this hammock, and it was the first shot of the show. And he had just got there, and I hadn't seen him yet. And so the first time, and normally you get to do a meet and greet,
right?
But I guess things were rushed. So the first time I was seeing him was at the first shot on set.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, you know, I seen him, and I was like, oh, man. And Blair does this every time you say so. He'll just go, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking the whole time that he just thinks I'm a fool. So, so I'm like, yeah, and I'm just trying to play it cool. But I think that was the single time. I think that was the moment that I was like, oh, okay, we going, you know, we getting some momentum going.
Right, no question. And just, you know, to kind of jump back into some things. I mean, we know you've been through some hardships in your life, man. And I'm just kind of curious, man. Do you kind of incorporate that, man, in the things that you write sometime, man? And does that also motivate you, man, to actually get some of the stories done that you do?
Yeah, all those people and all those characters in those movies. And a lot of times I notice it when I haven't watched a movie in like a year or so or whatever, and then I go back. But all those, and then I just kind of, you know, psychoanalyze myself, you know, through the movie. But yeah, all those are people that I've known, you know, some shady people, some cool people, some people that were along the way, you know, and you know, sometimes I just get to the point where I even name the characters after, you know, friends of mine and, you know, and people who have influences on me. But, that's, you know, a lot of that is in my head. And it's therapeutic to be able to get it out and kind of watch it in a movie and just kind of see what's in your own head. But yeah, and I know it gets weird in there sometimes and squirrely, but you know, I'm just trying to tell a little story.
No doubt. Do you feel like it's important, man, for you, because the type of movies that you do, man, is like you just said, man, it's about things that we see when we grew up and you know, just little different experiences that we go through, you know what I'm saying, from our culture. Do you feel like it's important for you to keep kind of bringing that to light, keep trying to show people exactly, you know what I'm saying, on what another culture goes through, you know what I'm saying, in spite of what other people think?
Well, that's the whole thing, you know, and ain't nobody else gonna make them. I mean, we don't see, you know, Hollywood making them like that. You know, we'll see something, you know, like Boys in the Hood or Menace or one of those come out, and then, you know, it's kind of unheard of, and then it's, you know, but I just don't. That's why a lot of times they don't get it because this is a culture that we have that like literally, magnifies all the way out to mainstream culture.
Right.
And nobody wants to see the nasties on it, but
right.
We gonna show them it.
Right. They want to, you know what I'm saying? They want the end of the story to be all nice and peachy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we know, man, go to things that we go through. It ain't always peachy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it ain't always a Hollywood format.
Right.
So yeah, and those are the stories that I'm telling. And I love doing what I do, and we're not forcing nobody to see what we're trying to say. And if you get entertained along the way, because, a lot of times, I make my movie for gangsters. I make my movie for people who understand just because that's where I'm from.
Right.
But I want everybody to understand the whole aspect of it all. And if everybody just kind of, the statements aren't, I don't hide them or anything. I say what I'm saying in there, you know what I'm saying? And, no uncertain terms.
Yeah.
Prison is people, it's generations of black men growing up in prison. Like, they in prison with their sons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Their son is they Shelly. And people don't want to hear that because that's nasty.
Right.
And then we'd have to spend some more money on programs and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And we'd rather, spend them somewhere else. But we're not going to get into politics. But, that's it. And people don't want to hear those stories like the father and son in jail and they got to figure out how to still make life work.
No question.
You feel me? Because those are real situations.
No doubt.
Hundreds of them.
No question. So tell us, man, how did let's get to the movie Mafia. How did you know what I'm saying? So give us, man, a little insight, man, on how that came about. You know what I'm saying? What made you write that? You know what I'm saying? And just what it took, man, to actually get that done, and then along with the message that you was trying to send, along with creating that movie.
Ving Rhames called me and was like, "Hey, let's do a movie, like a Mafia style movie." I like to make it a little more, dramatic than that, but that's what he said. Let's do a Mafia style movie, based on a couple things. And we were going to do it based on a few characters, real characters. And then that whole thing with rights and stuff got kind of squirrely. So we decided to, just kind of take ideas. He was like, man, take ideas that and just, make them into whatever. And so we, but, that was the producer's, whole thing with Mafia, because I love Mafia magazine. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't. The original name of this film was Consequence of Renzo West, and I just think it just kind of went with it a little more. But Ving Rhames called me, said, "Let's do it." And when Ving calls, you just do it. He's like, my movie, I wrote it, and we were in Pittsburgh shooting it within. Couple months right after that.
Right.
But I just took a lot of those are characters that like my relatives and people like that grew up in.
Right.
That I grew up around. Just kind of modeled the characters after them, especially the Renzo character.
Right. So how do you think that the movie was received? I mean, was it, I mean, of course you made some paper on it, but I'm just saying, how did you feel like, the public received the movie, after you have gotten it done?
From what I hear, I've been in Puerto Rico for a minute. I'm in Puerto Rico right now.
Yeah, I know. You out there on the beach, you know what I mean? You out there doing some real good stuff, man. Suntan, and you got the good stand on you.
And I've been out here, and I was out here when it came out. But I'm getting literally, it's like I'm getting great feedback, but everybody tells me they like it. I'm seeing some, I really don't kind of go into the reviews and things. Right. I think my wife read some reviews and she be trying to tell me, but I don't be listening to them. But, I think as far as my audience,
right.
I get calls and hundreds of emails all the time and very thankful for them. You know, other people they looking for. They thought, you know, Pam Grier, Ving Rhames, that we were about to do another Jackie Brown or something, but you know, they did Jackie Brown already. So no, it wasn't candy coated like that. It was a little more nastier than they thought it might be. And when I say nastier, I don't mean like disgusting, or but it was just a little harder than what they wanted to see. But everybody else, the audience loved it, and from what I heard, I think we're doing a part two.
Well, from what I see, you know what I'm saying, just, kind of knowing a little bit of your past, doing a little research on you, man. I mean, you doing your thing. I mean, you got an incredible story. You know what I'm saying? I mean, from some of the things that you've been through, you know what I'm saying, to be able to kind of evolve into the person that you are today is a really beautiful thing, man. And I would actually like for you to maybe elaborate a little bit on somebody that's coming up behind you, or somebody that's kind of watching you, man. Like, kind of give them, you know what I'm saying, a little quick blueprint, man, of what it takes to actually get done some of the things that you do every day.
Getting started is the hardest part. You know what I'm saying? And just, and staying in the game is the other hardest part. So it's just hard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a tough guy business,
right? And
you got to have a thick skin. So you got to go in it, And I know everybody thinks that they can everybody thinks they can act or write or direct or blah, blah, blah. But the people who really can. So, yeah, a lot of times you even got to figure out who you are as a person, and just know that you're going to, and nobody can break that, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to keep hitting at your armor every day. They're going to be telling you, no, that sucks. That's not going to work.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, and I hear that every single movie. 14 movies later, 16, 17 years later, they still telling me no, and I'm still making movies, and it's just because, you can't accept that.
Right. You keep making it happen.
And it's like banging, you know what I mean?
Right. No question.
Go make a movie like as if you were gonna bang. Go do your music like you're gonna bang.
Yeah.
Go iron some clothes, whatever it is. Put that.
No doubt. Hey, you still with me? So what we got to look for from you coming up next?
Oh, I'm gonna keep it safe. I'm gonna go into horror a little bit. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep it dark, I guess, because they saying it. But I'm gonna go into horror for a minute. We're gonna do a film called The Resurrection of Casey May. I think that's the tentative title of it. But it's kind of in the vein of kind of like a scary movie, not so much spoof, not so much, but it's kind of like a more urban style scary movie, the original one.
Right.
Oh no, scary movie. I'm thinking that's the comedy spoof one. No, like the like an old style horror movie, popcorn horror movie.
Yeah.
But with an inner city feel to it.
No question. You know what I'm saying? For all my listeners out there, man, we got the opportunity to sit down, man, with a really incredible writer, producer, and director. He goes by the name of Ryan Combs. And, we sat down with Ryan for a little bit, man. He gave us a little insight, man, a little tidbit on some of the things that he do every day and how he gets it done. Hey, Ryan, man, I appreciate you coming out, man. You spending your time with us. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful thing, man. And of course, man, continue on doing the things that you're doing. But before we go,
all right,
I would love for you, man, to just shout out, man, everything and everybody, man, that's helped you get to the point to where you are today.
Oh man, you talking about? So you about to you could go on lunch there, man. There's been so many people. It's been so many people there. Right. Responsible for levels of success that mm-hmm. And I don't want to miss anybody, so all of them are great, pinnacly and just milestone like. Ving Rhames was just there for me. He believed in me when nobody did, and for him to take a chance on me, he just really was the person who really took the biggest chance on me, in the business. So I'm gonna have to say, Brother Ving just really, put me in there like that, and I appreciate him, and I appreciate everybody else, and like I said, there's so many and so many different levels and per movie that, you know, I don't want to insult anybody by missing anybody, so I'll just, you know, but Brother Bing, you know, I got to give it up for him.
Right, no doubt. Hey, so like I said, man, we appreciate you coming out, man, and spending your time with us, man, and may you always continue to succeed in the things you do, man, and may you be blessed, man, you and your people and everything that you do. You heard?
Hey, my pleasure, and for sure, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for the interest, brother.
No question, baby. Peace.